Hello everyone, I'm just going to rant away for a while and talk about how I became a fan of the two Coreys. Because Corey Haim and Corey Feldman seem to be a worldwide thing, and I'm going to tell you my journey of becoming a fan and discovering them and how I discovered them and collecting stuff and obviously owning one of the biggest collections probably around of the two Coreys. I always love to look and go, wow, discovery. I can tell you right now where I got that one from. The birthday, got that on my birthday, and it was actually the birthday was on there. It's my birthday, and I actually got that in Edinburgh on my 30th birthday. And when I seen Feldman, I was like, right, sign as the birthday, and he lost his shit. Now I'm not going to put any overlays on, but if you want to see me meet Feldman about the birthday, check out Horrorcon video from 2019. Right, anyway, so I eventually met Corey years later. Unfortunately, I've got to meet Corey Haim, who passed. I was in LA when he died, which was scary. But, right, two Coreys. I was a big fan of videos when I was a kid, and I think it was mainly come off my granddad. My granddad was like the video guy, you know, when people used to rent them out of the car, the boots. You know, did odd jobs when he retired. My granddad retired really early on a really good pension. You just don't see that kind of stuff now. And every Friday when my grandparents would have us for that one day of the week, I remember going to the Ritz video shop and I think free for £1 and renting stuff like American Rabbit and, you know, like kids films, and always like was drawn and fascinated by artwork. And you know, people either like, oh, fucking done a fire stick and all that, but like, I think real movie lovers love going in any kind of home or video shop and just taking it all in and hunting for their favourite films, so you can be a fan of anything, and it's a mass appeal, you know what I mean? You know, anyone could be a movie critic. It's good, it's bad, that's it. You know what I mean? It's shit. But, you know, I was really interested in movies taped off television and stuff like that, what was shown. And my grandparents were really strict about what I could watch. So I was always like looking up and going, oh my god, I want to watch this, and like artwork just drawn to it, you know what I mean? And I had a massive interest in film. Now, the first film I ever seen at the pictures was The Gremlins, and it wasn't. So I was born in 1983, so I think that's a really good era to grow up in if you're a fan of VHS and all that kind of stuff. And I seen it in the Isle of Man. My parents had basically gone out for a date night, and I think I was lumbered with my dad's friends. They were in the Isle of Man for one of the rallies when I was younger, because my dad builds rally cars and stuff. And I remember I got a very strong memory of like one of my dad's friends being like, should he be really watching this? You know, and I just tagged along to the cinema that day, something to do. Gremlins was on. It was after its initial run, and Gremlins is obviously known for being the film that it's like, is it a 15? Is it 18? Is it a PG? Is it an 18? It has to be somewhere in the middle. Like, and also Raiders of the Lost Ark, so the 15 came around about that time. So again, that's how I was in the cinema. And I just remember it being a very small little cinema kind of thing, and that was the first film I seen, and it was The Gremlins. Now, being a fan of movies and wanting to rent, I always remember when Christmas came around. I mean, I'm recording this today on Christmas Day. I always remember the countdown of like what was going to be on over Christmas, and you would talk about in school, the Radio Times, the adverts would be on for weeks. It'd be a countdown, you know what I mean? It's like, I think people don't realise now like how long stuff took to come out from the pictures onto VHS or onto television. Sky wasn't around then, but I always remember like the countdowns and stuff, and I also remember seeing The Goonies really early on, and The Goonies really captivated me for its sense of adventure. I absolutely love The Goonies. I love the music. I just love especially where I grew up. I grew up around the Gilbridge Viaduct, Hounds Gill Viaduct, and that's got cave systems, woodlands, like sort of swamp. I also seen frogs dreaming in this era as well, and you know, I've seen all these like films and taken in. Now, as I said, Gremlins, Goonies, and it was just like that kid. That kid. And, you know, I'm a massive Turtles fan as well. So when I seen the Turtles movie, Donatello was my favourite turtle because as a kid, it was easy enough to get a stick in the woods. Unlike everyone else with like nunchucks and like scythes and swords, it's like, well, with a stick, and purples, green and purple are pretty much my favourite colours. And I didn't know at the time that Corey Feldman was the voice of Donatello. Now, you got Goonies and Gremlins at this point, and as I got a little bit older and started watching more movies, I seen Stand By Me. Corey Feldman again. So Stand By Me is probably one of the best films out of the 80s and arguably one of Feldman's best performances. Now, Stand By Me, I think everyone should see it. I don't think it ever should get remade. It's so well made and it's so well cast. And I think when, it's a sense of discovery and it's one of the best adaptations of a Stephen King. I tried reading the book recently and halfway through it went on to some complete random tangent from some other book, and I was like, what the hell was going on here? I struggled reading Stephen King's books, to be honest with you. But, there's Stand By Me. So, who's this Corey Feldman? And, again, there they are. So you look around these films, I'm just having a look there. Yeah. So at this point, I'd seen that artwork, but never seen the VHS. So, it's not long after that I discovered Lost Boys. And I seen the Lost Boys quite early on. I think my stepmom Ali was quite like Kiefer Sutherland's look, and I remember she had a poster of Kiefer Sutherland as David in the Lost Boys, and I got to see the Lost Boys early on. And I think the Lost Boys again, it's another film that's so well made and so well cast. Corey Feldman again, So I was like, all right, that's that kid. He's in everything. And he was pretty cool. He was pretty funny. Again, he just seemed to be like, if you wanted to be an actor at that time, he seemed to be the go-to kid. I would later on discover he's in Friday the 13th, Fox and the Hounds, Cheers, you name it. He was in everything. Mork and Mindy. He just worked and worked and worked. And I remember at this point, Concert got a new video shop, and Ritz was taking over the Blockbuster, and it kind of had that Americana, and it kind of just sort of went from having, say, for a wall of 25 VHSs, it would have a wall of 10 VHSs, multiple copies. This is what you're watching, and the back catalogue slowly just went out, and then because the shop was so small, they didn't really get in the full range and expand the catalogue. And this was a big boom at the time for VHS, and I'm just talking about here in England, in the north of England, in Concert. So this other video shop opened up called Title, and it was huge, absolutely huge. You walk in, the counter's all the way at the back, and they just had mass of catalogue, and that was the go-to shop, and I used to go in, and even though I was only 13, 14, they would just rent you anything. They just didn't care about the age rate, even though the cop station's pretty much straight out the front door. And you used to go in and just wander, and you would discover movies. And I didn't read. I mean, I was 30-year-old when I read my first book from cover to cover, and it was Brian Freeman's Bone House. So I never had that escapism of reading. So I kind of watched movies, and I was just watching anything I could get my hands on, literally. The offers, my mum used to go nuts because I didn't drive. We lived at Castleside, miles away. Oh, I'm gonna drop these off. They're fine, and it's just again, it was expensive pocket money. You can't just go out and just buy this shit. So again, renting stuff, telly stuff, borrowing stuff, and I remember walking in one day and away from the new releases and stuff like that. I mean, that's why I've got a Demolition Man poster still in this room, because I just remember the countdown to Demolition, not being old enough to see the pictures, and by this point I like First Blood I'd seen really early on and absolutely loved First Blood. Snipes seemed to be in some really cool movies at the time, and I just remember the countdown of that, and I was just wandering around, and I remember seeing Scuba School on the shelf, and I was like, Corey Haim, that's the other kid from the Lost Boys. And I shit you not, in this little corner. So you walk in, the shop was like that, went around, counted, and then they had like this back corner bit here you could go in. And I remember standing there and just, oh, Scuba School. And I was like, and it's a kind of funky drawn cover, you know, Corey Feldman. So I was like, yeah, alright, I'll rent that. And I just looked around us, and for some reason, I seen Fast Getaway, Corey Haim, Fast Getaway 2, Corey Haim, Just One of the Girls, Corey Haim, and then Blown Away, Corey Haim and Corey Feldman. So what? And again, it was just kind of right, Rent 1, Rent 2, thought it was quite funny. And again, it's like being a fan of Christian Slater or being a fan of the actors you get in. You Kevin Costner for ages, you know, Wesley Snipes, and like, all right, you sort of like, right, I like that actor, I'll watch it because they're in it. And I think everyone does it, you know what I mean? So again, it's in a small little video shop, and then with renting Fast Getaway, I think Fast Getaway had a trailer for Prey of the Roller Boys, and they had Prey of the Roller Boys in. And I think that was the film I was like, this is so fucking cool. I mean, just reviewing them films for a bit, you know, Just One of the Girls, funny comedy, yes, you know, him doing the whole Tootsie kind of thing. Last Resort, aka Scuba School, fucking bonkers, you know. But again, I've got so much love and nostalgia from just like that one. Let's watch it, and it's fucking weird as shit and mental. Fast Getaway, first one's amazing, great action. Fast Getaway 2, it's just like, again, that's a bit weak, but Blown Away. Who would not want to fuck Nicole Eggert after watching that? She was probably my first crush, Nicole Eggert, in Blown Away. That's a nice duck, no shit. So again, it being like a teenager as well, the comedy side, the teenage stuff they're going to, then the sudden exposure into like Blown Away, the sex scenes, the you know, again, they've taken all this content in. But then it's seen Prey of the Roller Boys, and of course everyone's got roller blades on, and that kind of doesn't make sense. But the film, I mean, I watched it last night, the music, the score, I was hooked, you know, I was hooked on these films, and that was what hooked me, being able to get them. And Blockbuster had nothing. Blockbuster was able to order me a sell-through copy of License to Drive, and I remember it taking weeks to come, and that's how I eventually seen License to Drive. So you have them big Horror-X books, and you know, like, you didn't have the internet then, you know what I mean? So you couldn't go, oh, you would get the back of the box, and it would say Corey Haim, Lost Boys, you know, that would pretty much be the go-to thing. Now in titles, when I asked at the counter, they were like, right, he's in Oh What a Night. What a Night? What's that? And you're walking around, and like, again, you're discovering these films. I mean, this was, they had no alphabetical sense of the shop. There's a gap, fill it. They had them off in sections and stuff like that. So I always remember as well, when I rented Prey of the Roller Boys, I didn't get to see the cover. They just had it. It was out there somewhere, and I remember when I found it, it was underneath this bottom shelf in this corner thing. And just the cover, I was like, that's a bit of a weak cover. Actually, I can roll there. There's me HMV shop one. I remember always seeing that on the shelf and the discovery of it. But, you know, when you get them as well, this is what set me off wanting stuff. When you got that was Corey Haim on VHS, and this guy exploded. Dream Machine was advertised on Fast Getaways, and then this Dream Little Dream, couldn't find it or see it anywhere. And when you read these Horror-X books, Watchers, and then you had stuff like Secret Admirer and Murphy's Romance. When in the shop, have you got these films? Yeah, so that shop is responsible for a lot of Corey's stuff, because like they had quite a range of stuff, like Murphy's Romance and Secret Admirer. Obviously, films, Haim is not credited on the, well, he is credited on the front box of Murphy's Romance, but you know, like these films, and you watch them, alright, he's in that, but it was kind of like the cool era in the 90s, and like all my other friends were playing football and stuff like that, and I was just more like, I like films. Again, I found a nice escapism from it as well. So at that point, going to the Metro Centre, you would go in and none of these films would see sell-through. Blown Away, not a sell-through. Fast Getaway 1, 2. Fast Getaway 1 was a sell-through. Pray the Roll Boys had a sell-through. Just One of the Girls didn't. And you kind of like, you would go to like HMV, Virgin, Playhouse, Our Price, Music Zone, you name it, Warner Brothers shop, looking at all the videos, W.H. Smith's, and you'd be like, and you just wouldn't find. Yeah, The Lost Boys was there, Stand By Me was there, and you start getting these into the collection, and you have them somehow. But the availability of them just wasn't there. Another video shop opened up later on, global, but we'll come back to that. So that was like me wanting to hunt films down. Now, in 1995, I went to New Zealand for the first time to see my dad, and he was living in Auckland at the time. Went the wrong way around the world. It was like something like 7 stops. I mean, I've been to Fiji just to stop the plane to get people off and that, but I've been to Fiji. It took forever, I think there's 7 different stops, changes, all kinds of stuff. I went with my gran, and I think she just must have went to a travel agent and went, I need to go to New Zealand. You know what I mean? It's just no tellies or what, anything, just got to sit there. Anyway, I remember the first time I went to New Zealand, it was, I got that Americana vibe and a couple of video shops and all that, and I was interested in movies and stuff like that, and it was always cool to see different artwork. And I always remember at that point seeing Christian Slater standing in a street and seeing Broken Arrow, Murder in the First, and Bed of Roses posters, and I tell you what, the Broken Arrow one was a fucking size of a building. It was hyped everywhere, and like Christian Slater was everywhere, and I'd seen stuff like Heathers and stuff like that, so I had this proper like discovery of like movies. But I don't have any like memories of like hunting anything down till I went back to New Zealand the next year. And that when I went back to New Zealand the next year, I went on my own. I was 15, just turned 15. I got there, and my dad had moved to the South Island in Motueka. But at this point as well, I was massive into my movies, massively. And I just remember like getting a Mott, and even though Mott's a small little town, it had United Video, which was kind of like Americana 2-story, like video shop, drive-in America style. You'd walk in, fucking, I remember Fled coming out and just fucking Fled everywhere. And Frighteners was a massive deal because of Peter Jackson as well. And I remember in that shop, that was the shop I found Dream Machine for the very first time. And getting Dream Machine, I'd seen the trailer loads, and I remember thinking, Dream Machine's not what its trailer does. It's not like a laugh out loud comedy, it's pretty dark. But so that was the first time I ever seen Dream Machine. And then they had a little shop down the road, dead narrow one, and kind of half of it was like the naughty videos at the back and stuff. And I remember in that video shop they had Last Resort, Scuba School, which I'd seen. That's when I first seen The Burbs. Now, I had seen The Burbs before, and obviously Feldman is in that, and that is one of Feldman's better films. Probably not his best performance film, but I've seen The Burbs from there. Rock and Roll High School Forever. Hi, Dan. That's the first time I've seen that. But they also had Dream a Little Dream. And so I remember chopping wood and mowing lawns for weeks to save up enough money to buy Dream a Little Dream. And it's a shame that there's a tape somewhere in New Zealand, and I'll be walking around there in 1996 with a camera, because that's the origin story of me filming. Because like I was filming like Dream a Little Dream review, and I've told my dad a million times, look, send us the fucking tape. And like I was over there, and they had not long moved house when I was over there in 2020, and he was oh, they're there somewhere, and I'm like, for fuck's sake, man. Anyway, I was just watching films constantly and wanting to see more films, and like my stepmom was like, will you get out of the house? You're sitting in here all day, and there's a mountain out there. There was literally a mountain. And then that they had the camera as well to send home movies back to the grandparents and stuff, because Sam had just been born, my brother. And I started like filming stuff then, and that's when I really got my passion, you know what I mean? So and then I remember Nelson, which is a town over from Motueka, And I remember going into Video Village there, and they had watches on the shelf, and that's the first watches I've seen. So it's actually sitting there. Boom. And it's the hunt. It is generally the hunt of finding these movies. And from there, it was kind of like, came back to England, Global opened up. Global had like, you know, Double O Kid, Demolition U, Fever Lake, and obviously at this point DVD's going to come along. But that initial hunting films down, and films like Edge of Honor and stuff like that in New Zealand, seeing that for the first time there, and as a collector, it was kind of like, I want them. Again, there's no eBay, there's no internet really. I mean, the internet would have been around, but you know, knowing the availability, again, these films, seeing the day, there's films still coming out today that's never been seen. It's like someone was talking about Charlie Sheen the other day, and the fact that he opted not to do Karate Kid and did Grizzly 2. And Grizzly 2, when he came out last year, like, that's how long that, you know what I mean, these films get half started, half finished, not done, lost, damaged, misplaced. Look at The Wicker Man. But you know, it's that hunt for stuff, you know, and that's what I like about it. And obviously it's getting less and less now, and I think with the shop, the HMV shop, what I try to do with there is trying to bring back a bit of nostalgia with that. And you know, it's really cool now in 2023 to walk in there, and the shop's got laser discs up, it's got VHS on the wall, it's got original posters, and it's strangely enough, like, out of their whole catalogue range, very few films are available physical to buy right now in the shop, and two of them bloody films that are Watches and Dream a Little Dream, which I always found very funny to me, because like, they just weren't available, and to see that Watches is, you know, out, and Dream Little Dreams just come out on Blu-ray, but again, it's all these films that you're trying to track down and like telling a story about it. I've got a couple of stories. I think when I was in New Zealand in 2020, I walked up to the centre of New Zealand, up this bloody mountain, and we picked a random place to have food when we came back down, and I dropped my spoon in my bowl, and I got my camera out, zoomed in, and License to Drive was stuck to the wall, and they actually sold us a VHS, which is up there. And then, you know, hunting stuff down, and like, I'm just going to sort of twist my chair because a little bit here, because a lot of the stuff I get these days is just obviously on eBay, and you've got to actually look at that bad boy. What's happening there? Oh, look at that. I think it's because it's a bit of heat there, you know, because this is the German one. It's stuck down there. Watches. That's one of the most bitchin' ass covers there. I'm gonna shake these around a bit. Anyway, just looking. Snowboard Academy, got that in titles. Never Too Late. I don't think I ever found that. Without Malice. Oh, that was a find and a half on eBay. Dream a Little Dream 2. Again, titles years later. You walk in and like, it was always like the discovery of it, you know, like, oh, look at that. But I think one of the best ones up there is there's No Surrender. Is another one where you would walk around titles and you would see Feldman on the front cover like that in his red suit, and you think, what's that? Karate Kid thing. And obviously Turtles, Legion. But I think one of the best ones I've got, and I'm not going to cut the footage because this is just one big waffle in it. I remember going into this charity shop for a while, and charity shops were taking them in, but now they've stopped because apparently there's chemicals and stuff, bullshit and all that. And I think like when you go to a charity shop and they say they're not taking VHSs, they've got some connection. You know, they've got somebody who, like, because honestly, when we moved house, I was selling VHSs on eBay that I didn't even realise I'd had. I'd sort of build shelves up and just collecting them, or people were giving us them, and I was just like, aye. And that's, again, it's another thing where, like, I can see from now, Office Space is holding up my shelf over there, and that's what people do, you know. People hunt for these kind of films, and one person's shit is someone else's treasure. But I remember this one day, like, I had these 4 sections of VHSs, and all like double deep, and you would have a look. And I wrote it off. I was like, this fuck all day today. And I always remember the bottom last shelf, right in the corner, was Edge of Honor. And it's a Corey Feldman movie, and they've made it look like Corey Feldman, Patrick Swayze. I'm talking about, don't laugh at me pants. You probably wouldn't even looked at me pants if I hadn't said. But yeah, get down here. Big spongy box. English import there, but it was just sitting on the bottom of the shelf. I was like, no fucking way. And I was absolutely over the moon to actually find that. And obviously when I met Feldman for the first time, I got him to sign it, and he's just signed right across his face. So to me, he hates this film. Just hates this film, you know, because like if you watch that HorrorCon video, right, he's like, whatever, and then when we show him the birthday, he's like, you know, he did absolutely lose his shit over the birthday. But like again, it's kind of like when I met him, I was like, I've got a story to tell you about that, and he was just like, whatever. And again, it's like you need to watch it. If you check out a Dan and the Sludge TV, there's a fucking bit with these the fucking trees and shit, man, and an ambush. You think, fuck right off. But that was a discovery for me. I think it's just like again, it's hunting. It's being a collector, and I think it's like hunting stuff down. Like Christian Slater films, are always going to buy them first batches. You know, Killian's books. I'm just vinyls, scores. I think if you're a collector, you like to hunt. I think you like to hunt, but there's also the problem now with collecting as well. I just try and wrap this up here. You can pre-order something. For example, Stand By Me is getting another steelbook. I say getting another because it's already had a steelbook. There. It's getting another steelbook. Do I need another steelbook? No. Did I order a steelbook? Yes. Because like it'll come out, and if you look at Oppenheimer, if you don't pre-order it, you're not getting it, and like that's kind of weird because like people buy them up and then sell them, flip them, sit on them. People want it, and it's a strange game to play. I always opt for, you know, in a perfect world, there should be a company where they could print the films on demand, put a pre-order up if you want this movie, and sell them and get a collector's edition. Because I think some of these films that have been lost could like be resurged into some kind of VHS packaging, especially Haim and Feldman films that haven't seen the light of day, you know, and could have a VHS, you know, collection done. But I think my waffle's over. As I said, DVDs wise, it's fun to find them, but half the stuff now doesn't get released. One of the best ones I've got when it comes to shit down here is this one. And I walked into a shop called Saw Thumbs in New York. He had absolutely loads of Laserdiscs then as well, and like I just remember finding that and just going, that's just like, and again, you never know, you know, you just never know. There's Dream Little Dream 2 on the back video, sample video. But yeah, as I said, I know this channel on Lonely Tree gets a lot of Corey Haim, Corey Feldman traffic, and I just thought it'd be cool to just put this out there, and a bit of a long waffle, but you know, being a fan in the hunt, the collection, tips for collecting now, it's a waiting game. It clearly is a waiting game. eBay pretty much every day just to see if someone puts on. I'll actually sign out of eBay now because I generally have no room for anything else. And you know, again, unfortunately Haim died when I was in LA, when I was going to New Zealand in 2010. Never got to meet him. I think it's a shame because I think if he was still alive now, I think he would have at least made quite a decent living doing the cons. And when I met Feldman for the first time, he was absolutely awesome. The second time, absolutely awesome. Third and fourth, he's class. He really is. And he really is. And obviously having a tattoo of him and the two Corys and the Lost Boys all up my arms, just like, ha ha ha, Jew. It's me. But yeah, See you in the outtakes.
I don't know where I got to go.
Could be an episode where I just talk about the best and the worst artwork. Like, just looking around, that was what really got us in the video shop. I think just what I can grab. I think Just One of the Girls UK edition. Now that is the same as the Laserdisc I've just held up. Yeah, complete. Yeah, that's one of the best covers. But then there's some but ugly ones, mind. Ones I can't really reach. Well, probably break on something like. But I think like even go back to Edge of Honor, like Feldman, Swayze. It's not Patrick Swayze. It's Don Swayze, and it goes Corey Feldman, Meredith, always butcher her second name, Girl from Dream a Little Dream, Scott Reeves, Ken Jenkinson, Don Swayze. So like they've chucked that on there. Again, I remember seeing that early on because the whole running in the woods kind of stuff. But yeah, there's some with absolutely shit artwork, like. But yeah, could be the best, the worst. But even like Stand By Me and all that doesn't really have a really good VHS cover, you know. But again, it's like going back into that video shop. And unfortunately now, one of the biggest problems with work now is like it's just spines. You know, you don't have enough space. Like I'm running out of space to turn something round. You know. Right, massive long waffle. Thank you very much for watching, following the channel. I was about to say supporting it. I don't need support at all. It's self-support. I'm running out of steam. I would say Merry Christmas because it's Christmas Day. And me waffle's over. Thanks for watching. Goodbye for now.
So why